Oh my god, guys, I just saw a big leak over on the internet website, 4chan.org, you might have heard of it. A guy over there whose dad's cousin's dog, I believe, works for Nintendo, so you know it's real, said there will be a Nintendo Direct sometime in 2020. I know, your mind is blown. But also, it may be coming soon, perhaps even this month. It's crazy. So today, I want to talk about what we may be able to expect, as well as what I would like to see from this upcoming Direct. In all seriousness, talk of the next Direct has really been starting to ramp up as these Nintendo Switch SKUs have surfaced, or I think maybe resurfaced. I think they might be a couple months old, but people just started talking about them again. Still fair because we didn't find out what they were before. As always, they're placeholders and could be for not just games. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bundle in there and that. But yeah, these companies, they want to make sure they have the games ready for pre-order immediately following the announcements to capitalize on the hype. So that's why they get these placeholders. So yeah, people have been talking about these SKUs. I'd more so say just the fact that it's the beginning of the year, the last Direct was in September. We're definitely due for one soon, I think. So what might we see? I'm going to start with the less speculative stuff. Recently, Metro Redux got a PEGI rating of 18 and up for the Nintendo Switch. So I think this has a pretty good chance of making an appearance during the Direct. And these are actually some pretty solid games. I believe this is the collection of the first two games, right? It's like a bundle of the remasters. But yeah, they're single-player first-person shooters. Sort of got a survival horror twist deal going on. And FPS games are definitely a genre that the Switch lacks in, so it'll be nice to see those come over. The next major Nintendo release is definitely Animal Crossing, which is set to come out in March. I assume we'll see a showcase for the game here. We've seen it a bunch of times already, but this will probably be the final sales pitch of sorts as we head towards that release. And like I mentioned earlier, I hope at least, we'll get an announcement for an Animal Crossing Switch bundle with some cool custom Joy-Cons as well as perhaps decals on the Switch itself. This is definitely a franchise worth doing a limited edition bundle for. I think it would sell really well, so hoping they do something for that. Continuing with games we have seen, I think a better look at Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is in order. This was announced during the last Nintendo Direct back in September and was given a 2020 release date. I think it would be nice for them to show an extended gameplay look at it, as that initial video was more of a tease. We didn't even get to see like any combat or anything. I'd like them to show more of this game, especially for people who aren't really familiar with it, as well as maybe give us a more concrete date. Maybe not the exact date, but more like the month, or even like if it's a spring or fall type deal, to give us a better sense of when we can expect it to come. Really excited for that to drop though. I also think there's a good chance we'll see the next Smash Fighter to close out that first Fighter Pass. I know many were hoping to see it announced back at the Game Awards and have it all come full circle, as that's where Joker was announced, but no such luck. The pick I would want the most, lately at least, has been Doomguy, or Doomslayer, they'd probably refer to him as. I feel like he would just be a cool addition, fun to play as in Smash, and the Doom franchise has been heavily supporting the Switch. It could also accompany some new info maybe on Doom Eternal, as the Switch version for that was basically just changed to TBA after the delay. We have release dates for other platforms, but not for Switch, so maybe they could give us that too. The only thing holding me back with that pick is I do feel the final fighter may be a woman, as there hasn't been any female reps on the pass yet, unless you want to count Kazooie, I guess, but I don't think most do. And I know there was a rumor about Cosmos from Xenosaga floating around. I don't know if there's any merit attributed to it, but yeah, I'd say the person I'd pick right now would be Doomguy, but odds-wise, I think if you're hoping for a female rep, you may have a better chance just because there hasn't been one yet. Going more into the speculative arena, we've got a bunch of games that were announced a long time ago that the developers have long gone silent on. For instance, where the hell is Shin Megami Tensei 5? This game, and I reiterate this every time I talk about it, and will continue to until we have more info on it, this game was first teased at the Switch reveal event before the system was even released. Yes, almost 3 years ago now. Last update, they were basically like, yeah, we're hard at work on the game, especially with Tokyo Mirage Sessions about to drop for Switch. I think they'd want to sort of capitalize on that, maybe kind of be able to promote both games simultaneously, and dropping some new info, a new trailer perhaps on SMT5, would be a great way to do it. In a similar vein, we have Bayonetta 3. Game was announced at the Game Awards in 2017, and as a result, I've been watching every Game Awards since, hoping they drop a trailer there. As with Smash, I've been disappointed on that front as well. I hold Nintendo directly responsible for the emotional, the mental trauma I've suffered from having to continually sit through the Game Awards. But yeah, that's another one I think it's really time we get some more info on. We know now they're obviously developing Astral Chain in that time as well, but that's been in the can for a while now, so yeah. Let's see something on Bayonetta 3. But even more egregious, way more egregious than the absence of these two, Pikmin 4. What was it, 2016? When Miyamoto was like, yeah, we're getting pretty close to finished with Pikmin 4. Yeah, how'd that turn out? And then in 2017, I think it was, he confirmed they were still working on the game. If we don't get an update on that one soon, I'm just assuming it's dead at this point. So I'd say at least one out of these 3 games, SMT 5, Bayonetta 3, Pikmin 4, one of these 3 has got to make it to the show. And in terms of a big closer, there are 2 major games that we know about currently in development that could fill that spot, Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Prime 4. I'd obviously love to see more on either of these games, but I doubt they have much to show on either one. But of course, they could do something with Prime 4. It wouldn't be a Nintendo Direct predictions video for me if I didn't talk about the Prime games, as I have before pretty much every Direct for years now if you followed me. Definitely sounding like a broken record here, but if I keep predicting it at some point, I have to be correct, right? And I'm going to predict the same thing I always do. Prime 4 tease. Yeah, I know with the whole development restart debacle, it probably still has a ways to go, but even something more cinematic to give us a sense of what the game is going to look like, feel like, what's the vibe, you know? Like we got with the Breath of the Wild sequel. You know, we know more about Breath of the Wild 2 than we do Metroid Prime 4. But also, of course, you can follow that up with the announcement of a Metroid Prime Trilogy remaster. It's gotta happen. Seems too obvious of a thing to not do it. Let everyone get caught up or even get a refresher of the events of the past games ahead of time. Those original Prime games with a fresh coat of paint running in HD, I think would look pretty amazing. This would obviously be my pick for something to close out the show with, just so I can stop asking for it. In terms of other big franchises that we currently have no word on, I could also see Mario swooping in with a big announcement here. Yes, Mario Maker didn't release that long ago, but Mario games release pretty regularly, honestly. We also had the Super Mario Bros. U release early last year, and no matter what, they always sell well. So I think there's probably another one on the way. Specifically, I think it's about time for another 3D Mario, whether it be an Odyssey 2 or something totally different. Breath of the Wild and Odyssey both released in 2017, and now we've known since last summer that Breath of the Wild 2 is in development, so why not a follow-up to Odyssey? And personally, this is 100% just my bias, not going off of anything. I think it's time for a new Star Fox game. It's been a while since Zero, which even that was a disappointment to many people, and I feel like I just got a taste of what a Star Fox game could look like on the Switch with Ubisoft Starlink, which did sell much better on Switch than it did on other platforms, thanks to the Star Fox inclusion, so there's clearly still some love for the franchise out there. In terms of Nintendo's bigger IPs, this is one that I think is different enough from others and has been dormant long enough that it's time to see them do something new with it. Again, just purely something I would like to see. And with that, this video's a wrap. Just wanted to throw out some possibilities, things I want to see, as well as the reasoning behind why I could see some of these things happening, but be sure to let me know your thoughts on the inevitable first Direct of 2020 in the comments. Let me know what you think we'll see, and what would you like to see. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the upcoming Nintendo Direct. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up on Twitter, @JohnnyZakari, and join my Discord, Shy Guy and Friends, link to both in the description below, and as always, thanks for watching.